I thought I had low libido, but I didn't. I thought I had a low libido. It turned out I just didn't want sex with my husband. I've been thinking about sharing my story for a long time. When I first found this sub, I was convinced I was the low libido partner. Reading everyone's stories made me realize things about myself that I had never really put into words. A little background. I'm 43, currently going through perimenopause, a mom of 3, and after 18 years of marriage, I'm recently separated. After my first child was born, I thought my libido had completely disappeared. I was exhausted from breastfeeding and taking care of a newborn. I had absolutely no interest in having sex with my husband. But here's the part that confused me. Even though I never wanted sex with him, I masturbated whenever I had the chance. I had a vibrator, and I used it regularly. I still had sexual desire. It just wasn't directed toward him. One day he caught me, and he said something that completely changed the way I saw things. So it's not that you have a low libido. You just don't want to have sex with me. As painful as it was to hear, he was right. That sentence opened my eyes. The truth is, our relationship had never been particularly strong. We got married only 10 months after meeting, during that honeymoon phase when everything feels exciting. Looking back, I think we got married because we were caught up in the moment, not because we had built the kind of relationship that can carry you through a lifetime. The first year was full of sex. Then our son was born, and whatever passion we had disappeared. I kept waiting for it to come back, and I kept trying to make myself feel what I thought I was supposed to feel, but it never did. Because of my upbringing and my religious beliefs, divorce wasn't really an option in my mind. I wanted my son to grow up with both parents, and despite everything, my husband and I were friends. When I finally told my mother how I felt, she told me it was too late. We were already married, and now it was my responsibility to fight for my marriage and my family. So I stayed. For more than 9 years, I tried to keep my family together. Every Sunday we had sex. Not because I wanted to. Not because I loved it. Not because I desired him. I did it because I felt guilty. I felt like it was my duty as a wife, and honestly, I felt sorry for him. I know that sounds sad. It sounds pathetic, even. But that's how I lived for years. That's how we conceived our other 2 children. He became my roommate, my friend, and my Sunday partner. I eventually started hating Sundays. One day, my best friend asked me something simple. Do you masturbate? Yes. Do you fantasize about making love? Yes. With your husband? No. That conversation forced me to admit something I had spent years denying. So I wanted to share this because I think sometimes we assume the problem is libido when it really isn't. Sometimes the problem is the relationship. Sometimes we're attached to someone's history with us rather than the relationship we actually have. We stay because we've built a life together, because they're a good person, because we have children, because everyone expects us to stay. How do you explain to people that you're getting divorced because there's no passion, no desire, no intimacy? How do you leave someone who's objectively a good person for something that most people dismiss as just sex? I read a lot of posts here from people who genuinely say they deeply love their partners, but have no desire to be intimate with them. Please don't attack me. I'm only sharing my own experience. Everyone is different. But from my perspective, it's hard for me to reconcile those 2 things. If I was willing to have sex every Sunday with a man I no longer loved simply because I felt guilty for denying him, I can't imagine loving someone deeply and not wanting to kiss them, hug them, touch them, flirt with them, make them feel desired, or care about fulfilling that part of the relationship. To me, saying, I love you so much, just don't touch me, feels contradictory. I know sex isn't everything. As we get older, health, companionship, family, and so many other things become more important. But when 2 people are still relatively young and healthy, I think the complete absence of desire deserves an honest conversation. Sometimes it really is a medical issue. Sometimes it's hormones. Sometimes it's trauma. And sometimes it's simply that the relationship has run its course, and admitting that is much harder than calling it low libido. Am I the a-hole for telling sons GF can only come over when he is home? My 2 sons, Theo, Henri, live in a house I own, 21 and 19. I specifically have them paying only utilities because we know times are tough. It's equally divided between the 2. The conditions were pay utilities, keep a room for me, and get along. The younger, Henri, has a GF. Let's call her Liz. Ever since I moved out, Liz has been inviting herself over whenever she wants, even when he's not home. I had no problem until today when Theo was sharing a story. See, my room growing up was the hangout spot for the kids. The living room was always vacant because they liked my room and TV best. So that's basically been the common room their entire lives. But since moving out, Henri moved his bed in with my permission, but with the understanding that it is the common room and his brother Theo likes hanging out there. Well, a couple days ago, Liz came over when he wasn't home. Theo has no issues with her, so he let her in. He went to my room to watch movies, and she followed. He was on the futon in the corner, she was in the bed, Henri moved in. Halfway through the movie they were watching, again in my room, a common shared space. She asks Theo to leave BC, she's uncomfortable with him there, and wants to nap. He leaves cause what is he to say? The next day, Henri confronts Theo, asking about what happened, and told him to stay out of the room. I found out today about this. Like I said, my room has always been a common room, and that was the understanding of my leaving. So I set a rule that the GF can only be at the house when Henri is home, and to never be at the house when he's not there. He thinks this is unreasonable. I told him if his GF is uncomfortable with Theo being around in his house when he's not there, then she shouldn't be there. Am I the a-hole? Comment 1. The girlfriend has a lot of gall telling the other brother to leave the room, any room, when it's not her house. I 100% agree with the original poster. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. And it kind of protects your son too. Your son shouldn't have to leave the room or the house because the GF is there. I understand her feeling uncomfortable with him there while she wants to nap, but her BF wasn't in the house. She could go take a nap in her own house, or while her BF is there. And why come to hang out while her BF is not in the house, and then feel uncomfortable with the person who also lives there? Comment 3. The girlfriend is doing a soft launch move-in. That's why. The original poster, my fear as well. If that's the case, Henri needs to find a different place to live. Comment 5. Not the a-hole. If she's uncomfortable in someone else's home when her BF isn't there, then she doesn't need to be there. I'm not saying all women are like this, but if she was cruel, she could accuse him of something awful, and there would be a he said, she said situation. That would put BF in a really tough spot. You, the original poster, are paying the rent and are setting a boundary that protects both your son and GF. This rule is the best solution in my opinion to prevent any possible rifts in the future. Update 1. To answer common questions. Why do I have a room at a house I don't live in? I wanted a room for me to stay in whenever I came into town to avoid paying a hotel, as I come visit frequently when it's warmer weather. Do they have own rooms? Yes, each has their own room aside from mine. Why was Henri allowed to move bed? I asked Theo if it was okay, he had no issues with it, as long as he could still go hang in there. Now there's issues, so Henri will be moving bed. Why is GF there when he's not there? No idea, she invites herself over. Do I like her? Doesn't matter if I like her or not. My son picked her, it's his issue. I had no issues with her until she created issues in a home my sons share. Update 2. I moved my trip up to today as Henri was giving me a feeling he wasn't going to give up the room. Fortunately, with a ton of protest, he moved his stuff back to his original room. I have put a lock on the door, and the room will only be accessible to me when I come into town. I also brought a lease which they both have signed as rules apply to both. His GF was here and was understanding of where I was coming from and understands that she can only be over when her BF is home. No in-between waiting. Thank you to those who reached out privately, giving me ideas of how to look up legal leases for my state, and for giving me words of encouragement. Son is a bit upset as of now, but he also seems to understand where I am coming from. Everyone is hanging out with me in my room, even though both guys are upset with each other. A little peace has been brought to the land for now. Hopefully everything is now clarified for all parties. I will enjoy my long weekend with my boys. Will not update unless something related occurs. Thank you everyone for your insights and opinions. Data center hell. I am a fiber optic engineer, and this data center will be the death of me. Recognizing the big words will bore the crap out of most people. I'll give the abridged version. This particular data center does not train or equip its employees properly, and as a result, anytime they have a slightly complex problem, they make it worse by trying to fix it. Then they call me for help, despite the fact I don't even work for them. I am their OSP vendor, meaning I fix problems outside and between buildings. Inside their own building is supposed to be their own problem. I receive an email. This infamous data center tells me they're experiencing an ORL issue. That's optical return loss. It means the connection is too shiny and too much light is returning the way it came, backwards, instead of going forwards through the fiber optic cable to the destination. I tell them it means their connectors are dirty and to clean them with proper cleaning supplies. Fun fact, they do not have proper cleaning supplies. Days later they follow up, telling me the issue is now a 10 dB degrade. That gives me pause. That could actually be an issue between the buildings I would be responsible for. A degrade means the light going from one building to the other is too dim when it arrives. Some of it has been lost. 10 dB is not a small amount. It means 90% of the light is missing and only 10% is getting to the destination. I show up. I start my troubleshooting by asking a lot of questions. The answers I get confused me. The equipment readings I get confused me. Finally, I realize what's happened. On a previous trip, I told them they had bad patch cords. They would fall out of their plugs if you so much as breathed at them. Following my advice, they replaced them with proper cables. So far so good. But one of the circuits didn't come back up fully. They properly diagnosed the new cable was dirty and needed cleaning. Mistake number 1. I told them the cleaning supplies they had on hand were terrible and likely to make things worse. Standard cleaning solution is isopropyl alcohol. I was told that was a hazard and they needed to use an alternative cleaner. This alternative cleaner is a mixture of propyl acetate, an industrial solvent that is itself flammable and emits hazardous vapors that are also flammable. Ethanol, which is literally fuel, and isopropyl alcohol. This cleaning agent leaves behind some oily residue that causes ORL issues because it's shiny. So they cleaned this fiber over and failed every time, and concluded the problem must be elsewhere, completely ignoring that I had already told them their cleaning supplies sucked and were incredibly inadequate. Now if their cleaning supplies weren't awful, that might be a reasonable conclusion. So they performed a loopback test. The connection normally goes equipment, patch cord, rack, cable leaving building, rack and next building, patch cord, equipment. A loopback test is purposefully looping the patch cord back to the transmitting equipment by connecting it to itself at the rack. When you do this, you add an attenuator. This is a special plug that adds loss. The system is set up assuming you'll lose so much light going from building to building, so that short-range connection needs to be dimmed a bit. That's what the attenuator is for. Mistake number 2. They connected the attenuator and forgot where they put it. The 10 dB degrade I was sent to repair was caused by a 10 dB attenuator they installed and couldn't remove because they forgot where they put it. And on top of that, they still needed me to clean their damn panel for them. The remote support team knew all of this, and through tactical lies of omission, made me think I might actually need to fix something that was my responsibility. Instead, they used my competence to fix-shoot their internal team doesn't have the training or equipment to deal with, which are basic essential functions of any data center team. These lazy bastards tricked me into troubleshooting, diagnosing, and repairing their own shoot because they can't be bothered to train and equip their own employees to do their jobs. I put my foot down and told them this is our last courtesy dispatch. For future calls involving this data center, we are working strictly to the terms of our contract. Woman at the self-checkout decided my groceries were apparently her problem too. I'm at the self-checkout, minding my own business, scanning my stuff. The woman at the next machine leans over and goes, "You know you're supposed to put your bags in the bagging area first, right?" I looked at her, looked at my screen which was working perfectly fine, and just said, "I'm good, thanks." She made this noise, like a little scoff, and went back to her stuff. 30 seconds later, she leans over again. "You're going to get flagged by the attendant." I genuinely had no idea what she was talking about. I've used self-checkout 1,000 times and nothing about what I was doing was wrong. I just smiled and said nothing. She then actually called over the attendant herself, pointed at me, and said, "I think she's having trouble." The attendant came over, looked at my screen, looked at me, said, "Looks fine to me," and walked away. The woman had the audacity to look annoyed at the attendant. Like she was disappointed nobody agreed with her. Finished my groceries, left. Still thinking about the absolute confidence it takes to insert yourself into a stranger's checkout experience and somehow end up being the one who looks silly. I got fingered in a crowded club by a stranger while my friends were right next to me. I turned 20 last month, and I did something I still can't believe I let happen. My friends and I went out to a big nightclub to celebrate. The place was packed, lights flashing, music loud. We were all dancing and having a good time. At some point, this tall guy started dancing behind me. He was probably around 30. He was confident and smelled really good. We didn't even say a word to each other at first. He started grinding against me, and I pushed back. His hands were on my hips, then slowly moving up. The dance floor was so crowded that no one could really see what was happening. My friends were dancing right next to us, laughing and singing along to the music. His hand slid under my short dress. I froze for a second, but I didn't stop him. He pushed my panties to the side and started fingering me right there in the middle of the crowd. It was intense. He knew exactly what he was doing. I had to bite my lip hard so I wouldn't moan. Every time the music dropped, I could hear how wet I was. I came twice standing up, my legs shaking while my friends were literally 2 feet away. After I came the second time, he pulled his hand out, gave me a smirk, and disappeared into the crowd. I never even got his name. I went back to my friends like nothing happened, but I was soaked and my heart was racing the rest of the night. I feel like such a slut for letting a complete stranger do that to me in public, but I can't stop thinking about how hot it was. Has anyone else done something risky like this in a club or public place? Did you get away with it, or almost get caught?